opportunity for this presentation. I'm here with my colleague, Dr. Thompson. Our colleagues, Dzamesi and Mahamud are not here with us, so we'll do the presentation on their behalf. Ghana introduced the kindergarten or early years as part of the formal education system in 2027, but since then there hasn't been any research to find out what is going on in the classroom, and that is the motivation for this research and presentation. Yeah, here's the outline. All right, it's evident that resource-rich environments contribute to the promotion of learning outcomes, especially active learning, creativity, and critical thinking in young learners. And then also in Ghana, just as other developing countries, the distribution of resources are not even, especially those in the rural areas, and this could have adverse effects on the learning. Okay. Now we use the resource dependency theory as a theoretical framework, and this theory argues that organizations' ability, in this case, the school's ability to garner and maintain resources will impact the degree to which it will be successful. So the purpose of the study is to assess the availability and accessibility of teaching and learning resources in kindergarten classrooms in Ghana. And then we looked at two research questions. To what extent are teaching and learning resources available in kindergarten classrooms? Right, but being available doesn't mean that they will have access to it. So the second research question is, to what extent are teaching and learning resources accessible to kindergarten teachers in Ghana?
So by way of method, the study involved 191 participants from public school kindergarten teachers from 2 regions of Ghana. And for the instrument, we developed a teaching and learning resources questionnaire, which had a 4-point Likert scale, and then also 2 subscales and 6 categories. And by way of data analysis, the descriptive tools that we used involve means, ranks, and percentages. Actually, we computed the mean for each category. Then the categories were ranked based on their mean scores, as will be shown in table 1 soon. Also, we computed the combined percentages for always and most of the time for each item in both subscales, and this will be shown in our table 2. So these are results. So as you can see in table 1, okay, we have the mean scores for teaching and learning resources categories. So for the availability subscale, the highest mean scores were creative and artistic expression category, followed by the literacy and language, and then the gross motor skill development category. However, the lowest mean score were recorded for ICT and digital learning tools category, followed by fine motor skill development category. For the accessibility subscale, the highest mean score were on creative and artistic expression category, then literacy and language, and fine and motor skill development. With regards to the lowest mean score, we had ICT and digital learning tools category, then followed by play and exploration. So for our table 2, we had percentages for individual teaching and learning resources. There too, we have the results for availability subscale and accessibility subscale. So for the availability subscale, the highest percentage for always or most of the time responses were flashcards and classroom displays. And the lowest percentage for always or most of the time responses had to do with toys appropriate for children's age group, followed by electronic devices and indoor gross motor play area. For the accessibility subscale, the highest percentage for always or most of the time responses were flashcards and then classroom displays. With regards to the lowest percentage for always or most of the time responses on the accessibility subscale, we had toys appropriate for the children's age group, followed by electronic devices and indoor gross motor display area.
All right, to conclude, the highest percentage of teaching learning resources had to do with the flashcards and then classroom displays, right? And then the lowest in terms of responses for availability and accessibility were the toys appropriate for children's age group and then electronic devices. In other words, this sample indicated that they didn't have adequate toys, and then also these toys were not accessible, the same as electronic devices. But when we looked at the means in terms of the categories with the items put together in terms of the categories, we saw that artistic expression category was the highest, followed by literacy and the language development. And then on the flip side, alternatively, availability and accessibility were lowest for ICT and digital learning categories. These findings have implications for policy and teaching, because the main thrust for Ghana changing the curriculum for kindergarten is for the total development of the child. But the prelim results from this study shows that teachers in kindergarten classrooms in Ghana in this study are still focusing on just the academic aspect of preparing the child for learning and development. And then as a follow-up with future research, what we want to see is how do the availability and accessibility of teaching and learning resources mediate the instructional practices of these teachers. So that is what we'll be following up after this study. Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions or comments as we proceed with the case, we'll be glad to take any comments or observations that we can add as we move forward.